Isn't it weird how there's a lot of movies that have come out recently that have Bond connections? We obviously had No Time to Die, obviously, but Black Widow referenced Moonraker, which I didn't talk about in my review. Then we have this movie, which, if you've seen the trailer, the main character steps through into the 60s and, ergo, a poster of Thunderball. But not only that, turns out Diana Rigg is in this movie. Who'd have thunk it?
Downtown, things will be great when you're downtown. No finer place for sure. Downtown, everything's waiting for you.
Hello, my fellow YouTubers and subscribers, and welcome to my latest movie review, where today I review the latest film from Edgar Wright, Last Night in Soho. Obviously directed by Edgar Wright, starring Thomasin, McKensie, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Matt Smith. So, Last Night in Soho. Well, I saw the trailers for this movie and I was intrigued. I was really intrigued, so I decided to pop along and see this movie. And the plot of this film is as follows. An aspiring fashion designer is mysteriously able to enter the 1960s, where she encounters a dazzling wannabe singer. But the glamour is not all it appears to be, and the dreams of the past start to crack and splinter into something darker. So yeah, that's about as much as I can say for the plot. So, Last Night in Soho. Wow. I was blown away by this movie. I really, really enjoyed this film. This film is amazing. It's a really good film. I have to be completely honest. I didn't know what to expect. I thought it looked great. And it was. It was a really interesting film. It was a real sort of psychological horror, mixed with a drama. You know, there was a lot of subgenres in this movie. It seems like a really sort of different type of film for Edgar Wright to make. And I think it makes Edgar Wright quite a versatile director when you think about it. I can't say too much about the story because I will spoil it, but I will just say that the whole story was very clever, the way it was written. I thought the resolution was quite good for the story, and some of the twists may be predictable, but there was one particular twist that I didn't see coming regarding a certain character, which I won't say. But I loved the way the film connected the two characters of Ellie and Sandy, and the fact that they kind of come to London to, you know, achieve their dreams. You know, they have a similar sort of journey. Ellie is staying in the same house that Sandy used to live in, and she's dreaming about her. She's having these visions, and there's this connection between them, which is really, really interesting to explore, and it gets really dark and intense and bloody at certain points, which I think is a testament to Edgar Wright's writing. It flows very naturally. The sort of tone of the movie. It remains quite a bleak movie for most of it, but it is so gripping. It is so immersive. I was glued to the screen. I didn't take my eyes off it. It moves at a great pace for 2 hours. The performances are really good, actually. I think they do a good job. Although I will say, my one sort of criticism I have to give him, Thomasin McKensie, who plays Ellie, or Eloise is her full name. I mean, she's good. She's not bad, but I don't think it's her best performance. I've seen her in other films, like she recently was in, I think, Jojo Rabbit, which I have to review. That's a great film. I need to review that. She was very good in that. That's probably her best performance I've seen her in. And then she was in the film Old. The M. Night Shyamalan movie that came out recently. But we don't talk about that. I don't know, I find her to be a little bit one-noted at times. I mean, she did get better as the movie went on, and I did start to kind of become more interested in her performance, but I just didn't find that she gave much personality to the character until quite late in the day. Like, in the beginning, a lot of her line delivery is a bit flat for me. Like, again, not a terrible performance. It's not a cringy, unwatchable performance. It's fine. It's just a bit flat. I mean, you know, she speaks in a very low tone of voice, and I know that the character she's playing is a character who's quite insecure and who's like a fish out of water. You know, she comes to London from the country. You know, she lives in Cornwall, for God's sakes. And I understand that the story is focused on her, and it's about her journey and about, you know, her aspiring to what she wants. And we do see her character change over the course of the film. I don't know, just to begin with, I wasn't convinced. I just thought, I don't know if she's right for this. She's a beautiful girl, but I don't know if she's right for this. But she did get a bit better, so I would say she was okay in the film, but I wouldn't say she was amazing personally. Just in my opinion. I also thought the chemistry she had with her boyfriend. I don't know the actor's name, but the character is called John. Michael Ajao. Yeah, Michael Ajao as John. The chemistry is okay. I mean, there is a chemistry, but I just don't know. I thought the relationship could have been developed. It could have taken more time to develop. Sorry, and I felt like they shouldn't have rushed that so much. For me, the standout performances have to be Anya Taylor-Joy and Matt Smith. Obviously, Anya Taylor-Joy is a great actress. She's been in a few other things. I think the last thing I saw her in was New Mutants, but she's been in a few other things as well. She plays Sandy, who's a very complex character. I mean, Sandy is a character who's been, abused and mistreated. I mean, she gets pulled into this life of prostitution, I guess is the word to use, by Matt Smith's character. But what's interesting is the way that both timelines with Ellie and Sandy are reflective of London. The fact that the movie is kind of giving the impression, well, showing the side of London that is rough and unpleasant and sleazy, which is interesting how that is reflective in both time periods. And there's a reason for that. I won't go any further into detail, otherwise I'll spoil it, but you'll understand when you watch the movie. Yeah, Anya Taylor-Joy was very good. She was very captivating. I actually thought she was a bit better than Thomasin McKensie, to be brutally honest. Matt Smith, yes, Matt Smith, who is previously known for playing Doctor Who. Yes, for playing the Doctor. He appears in this movie as a very unpleasant prick, I guess you could say. His character's called Jack, and he's basically the owner of this club. And, when he meets Sandy, he gets her involved as one of the dancers, and then he's, again, passing around different men, and yeah, he's just not a very nice guy. I mean, he's not a pleasant man whatsoever. It's a different sort of role for Matt Smith to play, but I think he handled it really well, actually, and I like to see him do more villainous roles, because I think he's got the acting chops to do it. It's so far removed from his version of Doctor Who. But the strength of this movie is definitely the technical aspects. The technical side of this film is just, wow. It's visually stunning. This is one of the best looking movies I've ever seen. It looks so good. The lighting, the colours, just the vibrancy of the movie is really cool. I mean, obviously, it's not meant to be a happy film, but the lighting is so cool, and it really adds that sort of style. There's the style of the 60s, but then there's also just that kind of other style of London, and London itself is really a character in this movie in both different sort of time periods. And I think the way they kind of blended the two time periods but also didn't make them completely the same was interesting. And I think the lighting and the technical side of it was really good. The camera work, superb. The music is amazing, and they even have a Petulia Clark downtown. Anya Taylor-Joy sings it in the movie when she's auditioning to be involved in the club. So there's just such a lush feeling about this movie. Like, it's just lush, and I think it oozes style. And if this movie does not get nominated for an Oscar for best cinematography, I will be so sad. I think honestly this could win best cinematography. It is that good. And Diana Rigg as well. I can't say too much about her because it will be spoilers, but Diana Rigg's performance is very good. She gives a good performance. She doesn't do a huge amount in the beginning, but towards the end she does get quite a lot to do. And I thought her scene with Thomasin McKensie towards the end was very dramatic, shall we say? And that sort of final climax of the movie was really interesting. And again, the story was very well crafted, and it was very clear. It was coherent. And you could buy into the characters' kind of motivations and where they stood. It was nice as well, the fact that Ellie, was dating John, and John was actually a nice guy. He was someone who didn't turn away from her, even when everyone thought she was mad. He was the one that sort of stood by her, and he supported her through thick and thin. And that's a good boyfriend. I like the way they wrote him, as a very genuine guy, because I think it was deliberately to contrast the character of Jack, who is just a complete arsehole. So yeah, I mean, this movie is amazing. I really, really enjoyed this film. It's a really well-crafted technical piece. The story is brilliant. It's paced well. It's edited superbly. It's shot really well. What more could you want? Like I said, my only sort of slight niggle would have to be Thomasin McKensie. I don't know, I wasn't entirely convinced by her performance, but I really enjoyed this film. So I will give the movie a 9 out of 10.
Downtown, things will be great when you're downtown. No finer place for sure. Downtown, everything's waiting for you. Downtown.
Yeah, I thought about giving it a 10, but I thought, you know what? Because Thomasin McKenzie is the lead in this film, and because her performance, it was a bit all over the place. I don't know, I can't bring myself to give it a 10, I'm sorry. But anyway, that's just my opinion. What do you think of Last Night in Soho? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Please comment down below. Let me know what you think, and stay tuned for more movie reviews in the future. So until next time, I'm Mr. Tarnus11. See ya. Bye for now.